Yes, so Jenny Ferns is here with me.
Hi.
Hello, Jenny.
Hey.
So Jenny's with Realty Executives in the Villages, and Jenny's probably one of the most unique realtors that we have because she's done several things that
Oh,
nobody else has in the company, and want to tell you a little bit about that, right? Like, so I think that's really important. So Jenny, first of all, like one of the things I found out, the first thing I found out about you is obviously you being an author. You've written. That's one thing we're going to talk about today. The second thing that I learned a little bit later, which I think is super impressive, is that you have more than one green thumb. So we've
yeah.
discovered you have two. So actually, let's begin with you've written before. So tell us about that.
All right. When I retired for the first time, and I've tried retiring a few times, but when I retired the first time, I decided to write my memoir. And when I was in the process of writing the memoir, I realized that it might upset a few people who were still alive, and a few skeletons in the closet would start rattling and might haunt me. So I decided that I would just take a few threads from my past and turn it into a fictional story. So that's what I did. It took me about 4 years to write. It is set in England because you can tell I grew up in England. It was set in
I
England.
couldn't tell.
You can tell it was set in England before I was born. I was using some stories that my parents told me. So it was set in England before, during, and after the Second World War, and it follows a dysfunctional family, how they deal with the war, post-traumatic stress, illegitimacy, and secrets and lies. So it's a interesting story with lots of different characters. And the neat thing is, because I wasn't using real characters, I could make them like the bad guys worse than they worse, and I could have invent things that happened to these characters that didn't actually happen in my family. So it became uh, a deeper story. And I mostly did it for fun. I joined a critique group here in the Villages. And if people are listening who don't know what the Villages is all about, it's a place where you can follow any of your passions, maybe some things that you haven't picked up in your past and you can have got time to do. So this was my writing that I had time to do. And I joined a critique group. And when I first started writing, I realized that actually my writing wasn't as good as I thought it was, because whenever you write something, you think you're totally brilliant and every word you put on the page is perfect. Well, it's not actually so. So they taught me a few things, and then my writing became more polished. And I actually created this book, and I published it, self-published it, because my husband said, well, you might as well publish this thing because, if you wait for an agent, you might have to wait forever and you'll die before it ever gets printed. So,
What's the name of the book? What's the name of the book? What's the title?
okay, it's called A Ripple Effect because of the war. So the war has a lot of effect on people in all kinds of different ways, not only post-traumatic stress, but effect on a family. So anybody who's in a military family might relate to that.
Where could they find it, by the way? You want to purchase it?
On
Where?
Amazon,
Okay.
and there's an audio book with me actually speaking in my English voice and doing different voices like an actor. There's an audio book, an ebook, and a paperback and a hardcover. So it's all on Amazon, different prices.
Perfect. I love it. It's great.
Thanks.
Before we get to the green thumb part, tell me about tell me about like three or four things that you think are really unique. Now that you're a realtor, what are
Right.
three or four things that you think are really unique about the Villages?
Because as I said before, if you retire and you come and live here, you can pick up any hobbies that maybe you didn't have time to do when you were working. You can start something new. There are over 2,500 different clubs and groups and activities that people can do. That's not including golf. Now everybody thinks that it's the golf center of the world. Well, it kind of is. but there are so many other activities to do. My husband plays golf. I don't. So when I first came down here, I took out the booklet that lists all the different activities. I highlighted it, and I figured that I'd never be home, so I had to reduce my activities to a few that were manageable. But it's a great place, and another great thing is that it's sunny all the time. I mean, it does rain sometimes. It's raining today, but it that sun is like medicine. And for people who live like me, who've lived in Canada through winter, it's it's wonderful not to have snow. You can go out and walk every day. You can swim in the pool. I mean, it's a retirement center. It's your dream retirement center.
Nice. I love that. I love that. So tell us about the green thumb. So, so,
Uh,
so give us an example. Like I know that, but tell everybody, all right, why do we consider you to have a green thumb? So tell us.
well, when I first came down here, we had a courtyard villa, and the the courtyard villa has when it's a new one, it's just been planted by the villagers. It has very very few plants in it, just boring green bushes. And I said to my husband, "Do you mind if I make a few adjustments here?" And he rolled his eyes and said, "Yes, of course," because he knew I was a master gardener from Canada, so he knew that something drastic was going to happen. So all those bushes got removed, and I, because I was a master gardener in Canada, I knew that the climate was just a little different. So I did some homework and went to some classes, and I learned the Florida friendly plants, the things that will grow here in the heat.
Give us a few. Give us a few of those.
Well, for example, queen palms. A lot of people like to grow queen palms because they're tall and fluffy and pretty, but they're not the best palms for this climate here, I learned, because when we do have a cold snap, those palms die, and they die from the inside slowly, and they're ugly, and then you have to spend thousands of dollars to get them removed. Now, the other thing I learned, which is fairly similar to Canada, is that a lot of annuals will grow all year round because a lot of them don't actually succumb to the cold and the frost. In Canada, pansies and petunias and things will grow. Now, I grow hanging baskets, and I fill them with flowering annuals all winter long, and people are amazed. So how do you do that? Well, they fine. I just choose the right ones. And I have to choose the ones that the rabbits don't eat. Because,
Yeah, that's kind of important, isn't it?
yeah, because I planted a few things, and then the next morning I'd find that they're gone. So I made a few mistakes like that. So I didn't plant rabbit-friendly things. They don't like spiky things or smelly things. So you plant the things that work. I made a few mistakes, but now I have a great garden, and things are. And I am what's called a lazy gardener, which means that once you plant the stuff, you don't have to do much, because if you plant the right things, they do their own thing. A lot of people think that gardening is high maintenance, but actually, my garden is filled with flowers and bushes and all kinds of things, and I consider it enhanced landscaping but low maintenance, because I'm not out there every day doing stuff. I don't
Ooh,
have to have loads of gardeners come in. It does its own thing.
you need to talk about this on your own channel too, by the way, because you have a lot to say. You have a
Yes.
lot, anybody that's really interested in, knowing these types of things, and especially most of the people that do come here to the villages and in Florida are coming from somewhere else, and there's obviously some different rules on landscaping and what you're going to plant, what you're not going to plant, what's the time, and that type of thing.
And some people think they want, if they're going to be snowbirds, they want low maintenance or no maintenance yards.
Yes,
But low maintenance can still be beautiful.
yes.
It doesn't have to be boring rocks or boring shrubs that just look like lumps of green. So
So yeah, I love that. I love that. So, and all of this, what do you see as your specialty? When you're working with buyers and you're working with sellers, what's your number one characteristic?
oh, that I will find out what they want. I have to listen to what their requirements are, make a list of everything that they like, what they want to do for fun, what they want in their homes. So it's listening and understanding, and then trying to find what works for them.
Nice, nice.
2 ears, two
Two
ears.
ears. That's right. One mouth, two ears. So, how can people find you?
Well, through Facebook to start with. Jenny Ferns on Facebook is the easiest way. Google my business. I have a Facebook page and a personal page,
Yeah,
and I have a website. Jenny.buysalvesthevillages.com. So,
there we go.
and I'm with Realty Executive, so you can probably find me by googling that too.
You're not hard to find.
Probably not.
We
Find me
can
on
find
Facebook.
you. We have ways to find you, Jenny.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm sure. I can't hide. Can't hide here.
I love it. I love it. I think we're going to, at some point in the near future, we're going to do another one together, or we're going to do a landscaping one. We're going to be talking about that. And I think we can do that together if you like. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming
Thank
on,
you.
Jenny.
Thank you. It was fun. Thanks, Glenn.
You're welcome. Take care.